Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Everything Tucson, where you'll hear about the latest news, learn from the most fascinating places, and hear the stories of the most interesting people in the city. Our guest tonight is Andres Ruiz, a motivational speaker who's focused on motivating the youth. I'm your host, Jermaine Miller, and here's our news from around the city, read with our guest tonight.
The Arizona National Guard will send more than double the number of guardsmen to assist with border enforcement than Governor Doug Ducey announced last week. Pima County Sheriff Mark Napier said Monday, while Ducey said Friday that about 150 National Guard members would be sent to the U.S.-Mexico border following President Donald Trump's call for a deployment. Napier said Monday morning that a total of 338 would be initially deployed. Currently, 225 Arizona National Guard personnel are being deployed to assist federal law enforcement. An additional 113 will then follow for a total initial deployment of 338. Napier said in a news release following a conference call between Ducey and sheriffs of border counties. Monday morning, Ducey was scheduled to take part in a deployment ceremony in Phoenix for the first 225 guardsmen. Ducey's office has not mentioned the additional 113 personnel in any releases sent to the press. Napier, like Ducey, a Republican, sounded a bit skeptical. Note last week saying that while Pima County faces legitimate safety concerns due to lack of the border security, deployment of the military in large scale to the border presents some issues with respect to the nature of its missions and logistical coordination with local law enforcement.
All right, that was good for your first reading. Nice, didn't even know what was on there. Yeah. And I practiced. The Arizona Board of Regents voted on Friday, April 6th to alter the contract for University of Arizona head basketball coach Sean Miller, according to multiple reports. The University of Arizona may have said it's standing behind Sean Miller, but the school also wants to alter the embattled coach's contract. According to a document on the Arizona Board of Regents website, the school asked the board to approve two new stipulations to Miller's deal. Under the First Amendment, Miller would have to forfeit $1 million in compensation if he's found to have violated an NCAA Level 1 violation, or if he's charged with any crime related to his position. According to the NCAA, a Level 1 violation can include lack of institutional control, academic fraud, failure to cooperate in an NCAA investigation, individual unethical or dishonest conduct, head coach responsibility violation resulting from an underlying Level 1 violation by an individual within the sport program. So he'd also get in trouble for that. The second stipulation deals with Miller's obligations and responsibilities under Title IX, including reporting requirements, cooperation with investigations, and participation in the Title IX training. Under the contract to be altered, Miller is making $2.6 million per year and is under contract until 2022. He could still make millions even if the school were to fire him. Good for him. Sources like Forbes and CBS Sports have said UA could be on the hook for $5 to $10 million depending on the reasons for the termination. Miller came home under came under fire in late February when ESPN reported the FBI had a recording of Miller talking about paying DeAndre Ayton before he signed with the Wildcats. The story by ESPN's Mark Schlabach, cool. Mark Schlabach claims the FBI intercepted Miller's phone conversation with sports agent Christian Dawkins, a key figure in the federal agency's investigation into a national bribery scandal.
Wow, $1 million, that's
yeah, wow, it is. You know, good thing he's a millionaire.
Yeah. Leaders at Southern Arizona's largest school district could decide the fate of an embattled principal. Tucson Unified School District governing board members voted March 27th to reveal the public findings of an investigation into grade changing by public high school principal Dr. Agustin Romero. The investigation centered around a 13-page complaint by Yolanda Sotelo, a long-term substitute at Pueblo High School, stating that Dr. Romero changed the grades she had entered for 6 students who would not have graduated from high school if their grades had not been changed. We've learned Dr. Romero's contract is in question, even after his contract renewal was approved, among other administrators at the March 27th TUSD Governing Board meeting. It was a close, contested 3-2 vote, and board member Michael Hicks was the swing decision. But according to the Tuesday, April 10th agenda, it appears Hicks is the one who will revisit that decision, requesting the item to rescind offer of contract for 2018 through 2019 and notice of intent to not offer a new contract for 2018 through 2019 for a certified administrator. Dr. Romero is the only administrator listed on Tuesday's agenda item up for discussion and a vote. The investigation by Tucson law firm DeConcini McDonald, Yetwin, and Lacey was completed in October 2016, showing the principal violated both Arizona state law and district policy. But the investigation reveals Dr. Romero was not disciplined for the matter.
All right, I don't know why he would be disciplined for like helping kids achieve their next level of advancement. Seems okay to me. Once finished, the third and final phase of the massive downtown Lynx project will take drivers from Baduza Aviation Parkway to Interstate 10 on a new 4-lane road that bypasses the frequently congested downtown area. The engineers' estimate for the city managed RTA project was $39 million. The 3 bids that came in for the project, however, surpassed that figure by many millions, leaving some concern that elements of the project could be compromised. The lowest came from Granite Construction, which said it could complete the project for $55.4 million, or 42% over the estimate. At $63.3 million, more than 62% over the estimate, Pulse Construction submitted the highest bid. The bids are still in evaluation and no contract has been awarded. City officials previously told the Roadrunner that construction would be, and that's the Roadrunner magazine or news organization, that construction would begin within several months of the contract being inked. In an email to the Roadrunner on Tuesday, the department's interim director, Robert Ryan said the Tucson Transportation Department is currently working with procurement to evaluate the bids. Ooh, man, it's a good chunk of change. I need to put in my bid. You know, I can do it for like 10 million.
Yeah,
I got you.
10 million, that's not too much.
You can do it? I can do that. I can do that.
A report from Atom Data Solutions found that Pima County residents pay an effective property tax rate of 1.04%. That is the highest rate in the state, but still below the national average of 1.17%. The report found that many of the counties that experienced the most population growth in 2017 were those with below average property tax rates. That does tell us that below average property taxes are probably not the only factor, but there is a connection, said Atom Data Solutions Vice President Darren Bloomquist. People are looking for places where they can pay less in taxes, and property taxes is a part of that puzzle, but it's not all of it. Bloomquist said the increase in population may in part be coming from companies expanding in or relocating to low tax states because executives often assume they will have an easier time convincing employees to move somewhere with low property taxes and affordable housing. The other side of the coin is that property taxes do pay for services and make a difference in quality of neighborhoods and schools. And he said people are often willing to pay more in taxes if it brings better services. Bloomquist said an example of that may be Texas, which is a state that has the 4th highest average property tax rate, but is among the fastest growing states in the U.S. A couple more taxes. I mean, if it's good for the community, then why not?
Yeah, true. I agree. As long as it's spent correctly, it should happen.
It's all good.
Yeah, I'm down with taxes. We can skip this. Yeah. This is the previous segment that was gonna happen. So here's the next story. Senator Jeff Flake's son is reportedly seeking a new civil trial against ex-sheriff Joe Arpaio, who is running to replace Flake in the Senate. Austin Flake and his ex-wife lost a lawsuit last year that alleged Arpaio pursued felony animal cruelty charges against them in an effort to hurt the senator politically. The case was dismissed in December. Austin Flake's lawyer told the Associated Press that he will seek another trial because authorities did not turn over evidence that he believes could have swayed the jury in Flake's favor. In June 2014, Austin Flake and his then wife were charged in a case relating to the deaths of 21 dogs at a kennel when the air conditioning in the room they were staying in stopped working. Austin Flake and his wife were watching the dogs while his in-laws, who operated the kennel, were out of town. Since the case was dismissed, Arpaio has announced his candidacy to replace Jeff Flake in the Senate. Flake, who has been a vocal critic of President Trump, is not running for re-election. Arpaio has been an outspoken supporter of Trump since he launched his campaign in 2015. Arpaio faces a GOP primary this summer against Representative Martha McSally and Kelly Ward. Trump pardoned Arpaio last August after the sheriff had been found guilty of contempt of court and after a Justice Department investigation found he racially profiled Latinos. All right.
So the Arizona Supreme Court has ruled unanimously against the Maricopa Community College District Board over whether deferred action for childhood arrivals DACA recipients can receive an in-state tuition in Arizona. In a decision order posted on the Attorney General's website, the court agreed with the 2017 appeal court's decision saying existing federal and state law do not allow MCCCD to...
That's Maricopa County Community College. No, Maricopa Community College District.
Thanks,
there
sir.
you go.
Appreciate that. I would never guess that.
Yeah.
To grant in-state tuition benefits to DACA recipients. The High Court heard arguments last week in the case affecting recipients of the 2012 program. Many people covered by the DACA program known as Dreamers have said that they'll have to drop out of school without the lower tuition. A written opinion is expected by May 14th, according to the decision. University of Arizona President Robert Robbins said in a statement the university will comply with the ruling. I'm disappointed that our DACA students will no longer qualify for the tuition rate that their resident classmates pay, he said. In conjunction with the Arizona Board of Regents, we will comply with the ruling and support our DACA students to continue their education at the U of A. At the same time, we continue to encourage Congress to create a legislative solution that provides certainty for all DACA students in achieving their educational potential.
Yeah, I hope they change that. Yeah, it's unfortunate.
I'm hoping the best for them.
All right. In surprising news, men are more likely to think they're smarter than their classmates, while women of similar intelligence see themselves as less so, according to a new study of a large class of biology students at Arizona State University. The study, authored by Caitlin Cooper and Craig and Sarah Brownell, was published, or Brownell is probably what that is, was published this week in the journal Advances in Physiology Education. The authors gauge students' academic self-concept, or how they perceive themselves and their abilities. The authors conducted a survey of about 200 students in an upper-level physiology class, asking them to compare their intelligence to the rest of the class and to the student in class they worked with most closely. Students who weren't native English speakers also were less likely to think they were smarter than their classmates, and native English-speaking students were more likely to perceive they were smarter than their classmates. On average, men were significantly more likely than women to believe they were smarter than their classmates, the study said. The study predicts that the average man with a 3.3 grade point average would believe he's smarter than 66% of the students in the physiology class. The average woman with the same GPA would perceive she's smarter than only 54% of the other students. All of this matters because students who have a higher academic self-concept likely will participate more in class discussions, and that helps people learn better, the authors concluded. The study results may mean instructors should work to make sure participation in class is more equitable so all students have a chance to contribute, the authors wrote. The study's authors told ASU Now these self-perceptions may mean female students decide not to pursue science because they don't think they're smart enough. It's a mindset that has likely been ingrained in female students since they began their academic journeys. However, we can start by structuring group work in a way that ensures everyone's voices are heard, Cooper said.
I was at a 2.6, so where would that put me?
Really? So you think that you're smarter than no one else? I think that means you think that you're not the smartest student. Is that what that means?
I think so.
Really? Okay. All right, so that was the news, and now we're gonna get into our interview, the best part of the show. So, right now for the audience at home, who is Andres Ruiz?
Andres Ruiz, so what I do is I am a motivational speaker and a life coach. And what I do is I help people believe in themselves. And that's why I'm wearing this right here, believe in yourself. Because I believe if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. And that's what I try to teach our youth. Today I gave a motivational speech at a middle school, and a lot of these kids are dealing with being bullied and people just criticizing them. And I believe that sometimes we take this up until we get older, and we never truly believe in ourselves because of the criticism that we get since we're teenagers. I mean, I've met people that are 40, 50, 60 years old, and to this day, they're still worried about what people are gonna say about them. And that is the cause of people not believing in themselves and going for their goals and dreams in life. So that's what my goal in life is. That's my purpose in life, to help people believe in themselves and go for their dreams, be dreamers.
Nice. So how did you come to that? You know, what brought you to making that your purpose, or rather following that as your purpose?
Well, first I started doing stand-up comedy, and I remember Les Brown once said, many people will leave the universe without a trace. And I said, well, I want to leave a trace in the universe, so I decided to do stand-up comedy, quite the trace on. But what the beauty about it is that when you pursue something that you've been wanting to do for a long time, which is, I wanted to do stand-up comedy since I was 12, I then started looking at other niches, like public speaking. I said, you know what, man, if I can do stand-up comedy, then why not try public speaking? Then I joined this club called Toastmasters. Ever heard of Toastmasters?
I have,
It's a wonderful club. I highly recommend if anybody ever wants to get out of their comfort zone, get out of that shell, join Toastmasters. It'll change your life.
That's awesome. Actually, a mentor of mine, Michael, he's a SCORE mentor. He actually just recently did a speech contest with Toastmasters.
Really? I think in Sorrentino?
Yes, you know him.
Yeah,
Sweet. Oh yeah, that's right, because we met. So also, for you all at home, we met at TEDx Tucson, actually. At TEDx Tucson.
Yeah.
We're both volunteers. I'm on staff on TEDx Tucson. And yeah, that's how we met. And so Michael, my mentor, is also a curator for TEDx Tucson. So TEDxTucson.org.
Yes, that's good stuff.
Yeah, follow us on Facebook and Instagram, TEDx Tucson.
Yeah, TEDx Tucson is great event. So yeah, pretty much I joined Toastmasters, and then from there I remember I went to go watch a speech competition where I saw 4 motivational speakers inspire me. I said, you know, one of these days I want to be on that stage. And I'm a big believer in affirmations. When you wake up, tell yourself who you're gonna be, what you're gonna do. And I started telling myself, I'm gonna be on that stage one of these days. And 4 months later, I was on that very same stage, giving a motivational speech. And after that, I just started saying, I wanna give speeches to middle schools and high schools. And I had the opportunity, started sending emails, and I started speaking at middle schools and high schools. It was nerve-wracking, the first speech that I ever gave, because you know, you already know kids are gonna be criticizing you.
Yeah.
They're looking at you. The first speech I ever gave was supposed to be about 30 minutes. It took me about 10 minutes because I went through the speech so fast. I was sweating. I even saw some of the kids looking at me like, this girl was tapping this kid, like, look at me sweating. I was thinking, oh my God, these kids are making me some more nervous than some other people that I work with, like at Toastmasters. So pretty much, then I went to the Tucson Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and that's where I met a lady by the name of Christina, who works with NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness.
Okay.
And then I started giving speeches for that because I went through depression at one point in my life when I was in high school. So I go speak to the kids about depression and what I went through, and I tell them ways of coping with their depression, and we give them resources on how to deal with depression, because right now many kids are dealing with depression. There's 1 out of every 5 kids are dealing with depression, and there are probably many more out there who don't talk about it because of the belief that has been linked to mental illness, that if you say you have depression or anxiety or any type of mental health condition, you will be thought of as crazy. And that's why we gotta I believe NAMI is something that should be required for every school because we need to help our kids mentally. And that's something that we have to work on. The mind and the body are very important. It's crucial when you get out of high school. I was never really taught any of this stuff. So
Agreed, same here. I wasn't. I had to read a lot of books, Think and Grow Rich, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful book.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad was great. And one of my favorites was actually Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. Yeah, fantastic book.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, I love it. Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand is an amazing book. It helped me put money into perspective and thinking about, I have to follow my passion, but I also have to look at the mechanics of money and making sure my passion is adding value to the world, and that value is going to bring in income so I can continue working with my passion, which provides value, which brings income.
That's
so,
great, man. That's great. That's
that's
awesome.
that book did for me. So, what is, you go up, how long have you been speaking?
I've been speaking for 2 years.
For 2 years now.
Yeah.
So at this point, what have you gotten out of public speaking? What reward do you personally get?
The reward I've gotten is the gratitude that I've gotten from students, the youth, when they go up to me and they tell me that I inspired them and I helped them to believe in themselves. And sometimes I have this bracelet right here that I believe in myself.
Yeah.
The kids, the other day I saw one of the kids at the swap meet and I was there and he came up to, hey, mister, look. And he told me that, and he said, I believe in myself. And I said, oh, that's cool.
Awesome. Awesome.
It's like Jim Carrey said, the most valuable currency there is the effect you have on others. And I think that's very powerful, and it's very true. Because when you get money, I mean, you get materialistic things, and you get all this stuff, but it's not as great as when somebody tells you, thanks, man, you really made my day, you changed my life, or you inspired me today. And man, when you get that, it's just very inspiring. I went to a charter school, and I got a big envelope filled with letters of kids, right, that wrote down what they got out of my speech. And man, that was just so, I was smiling the whole time I was looking at these papers. I said, no way, like all these kids gave me that. So that's what I get out of public speaking, is the reward of just seeing people smile and being happy to just have somebody there to motivate them. Because throughout the day, people are most likely criticizing you rather than praising you. And what's unfortunate is that it's our family and friends that criticize the most. So when you see somebody that inspires you, you say, wow, this person is somebody special. And I've seen it before. I've seen other guys' motivational speeches that tell me, you know what, man, you got what it takes. You have that I believe in you. And when they tell me that, I'm like, wow, this guy inspired me more than some of my friends, man.
Yeah.
And then when the kids tell me that, man, it just hits the heart, and you just, I don't know. It's just unexplainable, man. It's beautiful.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, for our last question, for everyone who's watching, what is a book recommendation? And one or more. Feel free to give more.
Okay.
But a book recommendation.
The one book that I believe that will change your life is The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of it. I have not read it.
Oof, it's a powerful book. It's very short, but gets right to the point. It says the thing that I really like about it is that don't take anything personally. If you take something personally, then you're only doing harm to yourself. And we take stuff personally. People tell us something, and we let that ruin our day, our year, our life. Sometimes some people take it to the grave. And another thing that he talks about is don't about your words, or how powerful your words are. When you tell yourself that you are somebody that can't do it, then you can't do it. It's like Confucius said, he who says he can and he who says he can't are both right. And so your words are very powerful. Whatever you tell yourself, if you're feeling some type of fear, change that wording. Like, instead of saying, oh, I have so much fear. No, I'm excited. Change it up.
Yeah.
Fear and excitement are the exact same emotion in your body. It's just that the wording that you give it is what's going to be the outcome of the way that you feel. So
absolutely.
So it's a very powerful book. I highly recommend. Another book that I highly recommend is As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Have you ever heard of it?
Okay, yes.
It's a really short book. It's like a 20-page book.
Okay.
But it's like they say, we become what we think about. And if you think about negativity all the time, then you'll be a negative person. But if you think that you're a positive person, you'll be a positive person. So
yeah.
That one is a very powerful book. Tony Robbins highly recommends that.
20-page? Okay. Yeah,
As a Man Thinketh by James Allen.
Okay.
and the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Don Miguel Ruiz, that book, I read it that same night. I finished it because it was just so powerful.
Great.
And it was just got told the whole truth and nothing but the truth, man.
All right. That just motivated me
Awesome.
to see if I can read it in one night tonight.
You can do it. You will.
Actually, so next week, if you guys are watching this, you can ask if I've read the Four Agreements. All right.
Good question.
If you're watching, I'm gonna make that like a bonus question.
Cool.
All right.
Perfect.
So thank you so much for coming tonight.
Thank
you all so much for watching Everything Tucson tonight. I'm your host, Jermaine Miller. My guest tonight was Andres Ruiz. Thank you so much for coming. Remember to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube account. And always, stay creative, Tucson. I forgot to say.